All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Schultz, otherwise known, still the cow guy. Let's take a look at these markets because, boy, oh boy, they still move around a lot. Let's take a look at corn, what's been happening over there. 5 cents lower than that for a month, 684 3/4 is last. We're close to the lows of the day. It's trading heavy. There's no which ways about it. We're about a penny and a half off the lows. 5 1/4 cents lower in the March to 691. So that's not really that good. How about soybeans? They were higher earlier. They still are. 7 3/4 cents higher in that NOVE to 1391 and a half. That's trying to put a 14 in front of it, but we're at the upper end, but still kind of in the middle of the day's range. 5 3/4 cents higher in the Jan to 1398 and a half. Let's move on down to the wheat in Chicago. Chicago wheat, that is higher by 6 3/4 cents to 866 and a half. That is, it's in the middle of the day's range, but towards the lower end. 7 1/4 cents higher in the March, 884 1/4 is last. How about hard red wheat in Kansas City? HRW down in KC, 6 1/4 cents higher in Deese, 958 and a half is last. That's 5 cents off the lows. 6 1/4 cents higher in March, 957 evens last, and that's 5 cents off the lows as well. So although it's still higher in the day, closer to the low than the high, and that'll give you an idea about what that picture says. How about spring wheat in Minneapolis? 3 3/4 cents higher in the Deese, 958 even is last. That's a penny and a half off the lows. 2 3/4 cents higher in the March right behind it. 965 3/4 is last there. And you can tell there's not a lot going on because July spring wheat in Minneapolis hasn't even traded yet today. That'll give you an idea. There you go. How about cotton? Let's take a look at cotton. 57 points higher to 83.72, just 72 points off the lows. That's in the middle of the day's range, so we can't really, but that's very, very quiet. All right, let's bring in somebody who's not that quiet. It's Todd Horowitz, Bubba Trading. He's in Chicago watching it snow. Bubba, or Todd, I could call you Bubba. What are your thoughts here? I mean, obviously the UK threw a wrench into the works early on this morning. So everybody reacted to that and kind of forgot about all the things we had to worry about.
We have nothing to worry about, Scott. I mean, it's everything is full steam ahead. Look at it very simply. If you look at the price action and you look at the chart, forget about what the charts are doing, but every down day is on very light volume. And then the up days, they charge them higher. And if you look overall, they look really pretty solid. I mean, I don't know where all the action has gone to. I don't know, why we're not seeing any business here. But I think the commodity markets in general are setting up for a gigantic bull market. And everything looks and favors that we go much higher. And you talk about the problems that we hide from. We're like blindfolded to what really is going on. And when it comes down to it, the higher dollar is not going to affect the demand because people got to eat. That's the bottom line. Is it comes back. These are consumable goods. They're not companies. They're not working on earnings. People are going to eat these things, and they have to be used. And at the end of the day, we're going to be short, and there's going to be raging prices, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the two numbers that really struck me from last week going home really were 16 and 31. 16 days of beans in the pipeline, 31 days of corn. That's tight. And I think that would then play into your thesis, right?
Well, of course. And how about the weather? I mean, listen, there's so many issues that we don't discuss that I wouldn't even know where to start. And again, I don't want to be, someone who says that there's no way they can go lower, but certainly it would take a hell of a lot to get these markets to break down from where they are, because we're going to have a higher demand. And again, you just said it yourself, there's not enough supply now. What's going to happen when we have more trouble, we really find out what's in the ground and what comes out of it when we finish up this harvest?
All right, you're making me scared. We're going to have to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Todd Horowitz with Bubba Trading in Chicago after this. All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm still the cow guy. Let's take a look at what these cattle prices got going on for us. That's an easy segue, isn't it? We're higher in that Deese live cattle in Chicago, $1.60 higher to 149.37. That's just off the highs, folks. One tick away. February's up $1.12, $1.25. Well, $1.22 now. 152.32 is last, and that's about 12 cents off the highs in Feb. Let's move along, see what feeders have got for us. But last we checked, everything was higher. Nove's up $2.05 in the feeder cattle. 176.82 is last. We're $2.65 higher than the Jan right behind it. 177.70, and that's just a nickel off the high. So feeders trading strong as we go into this part of the day. Lean hogs, what do we have happening in the pigs? Well, they're strong as well. Deese is up $2.12 to 84.37, 20 cents off the highs there. Feb's up $2.10 to 85.52. So a pretty decent board when it comes to like feeders and live cattle, lean hogs. Let's bring back in Todd Horowitz. Maybe he can sort it all out for us. But Todd, we can look green on the screen when it comes to the livestock, that's for sure.
And I don't think it's a surprise, Scott. You know, you and I talked on Friday that, you know, the feeders were down at some support and we're probably going to hold and rally from there. And here we have it. So, you know, I think they look really good. I just don't think there's a tremendous amount of upside. But again, I don't think there's a lot of downside either. I think they've really found that what we call that equilibrium in those markets. And I think the hogs are the same way. Yes, the hogs are higher. We now are, you know, using December as our base price, and of course they're very high for the price for the month of December for over history, but yet they are pretty stable. And I think you're looking, you know, 80 to 90 in hogs, and you know 170 to 190 in feeders, and probably, you know, 140 to 150 in fat. And I think that's really what you have, and I don't think there's a lot of room either side there.
Yeah, I mean, it also today with stock markets are all up 500 points too, so that's going to be a little bit of wind beneath the wings as well, and that's people. For whatever reason, they'll use it, and they already started to do that today. So really appreciate you coming on. Todd Horowitz, he's with Bubba Trading in Chicago. We're back in Nashville. It's kind of chilly here, Janet, so I'm going to throw it back over to you, see if we can get rid of that cold.